Hello, welcome guys. So today we are going to discuss something about web development skills. So one of the um, if you are beginning into web development or you are learning how to be a good web developer, or you are interested or you don't know anything much about programming. Uh, so the first thing is, I guess, you have to install the software. The things which you need to learn. So you probably have already seen the videos from at Aspire Academy or somewhere else. So once you install all the necessary tools, then the next thing is that how to learn it. So there are two ways of learning. One is that you can learn about the PHP language, what are the different functions, or you can also learn about MySQL, how to write query, how to write programs. But after that, to get a sense of what it takes really to do real life programming, it's always a good idea to take some sort of a project, which is somewhat of a proxy of a real life project, and then develop it from end to end. Now, two things which are critical, what I said. One is a project, meaning which involves a lot of different things, instead of just writing a hello world web page. So that means something which is close to the reality. So if you go to any web page, typically you fill up some form, you click on some results, and it gives you certain records, and you click on it, you go from page to page, and all that sort of thing. So that's a sort of something in a real life project which you have to do. And if you have to do end to end, you get a good sense of what it takes. Now, end to end meaning it has to involve writing a good amount of HTML using CSS. It has to involve also doing some sort of this website or whatever you take as a project. It has to interact with the database, get some records, update, delete. It also should involve writing some good CSS. It should involve some JavaScript. All the tools which I've downloaded, basically jQuery, CSS, MySQL, PHP definitely. One sample project of which people do is what you are seeing here is an address book. Address book kind of is a simple project, but it touches a lot of different things. Now, what is a typical address book? You can think something like a guest book in some websites you have, but basically this is a simple address book where let me show you. If you click on home, so here is a sample address book I have developed, so where you can see all the addresses here, and you see there is a little bit of, I think it's involved in jQuery. You can navigate through it. You can edit an address, right? You can edit an address and then see it updates it. You can delete an address, so it has deleted address, I guess. So let's try it again. So it deleted the second address. You can print a label. So this is see, this is not completed here, but you should have a print button here, and let's say you should be able to add a new address. So add, update, delete, this is sort of a standard. So let's say, so in this video tutorial, or on this video, I'm showing you what are the different features on an address book, and in the next video I will walk you through the project, or sort of how to develop in pieces, and so that by the end of few tutorials you would sort of get a complete idea what to do. But instead of waiting for my videos to come out, you can see the features in the address book, and you can go ahead and start developing yourself, to get a good understanding and feeling confident about your web development skills. So for no reason, this is still a very rudimentary project. I mean, the real life websites are definitely much better, but this is something, if you are new to web development and you want to learn it, this is sort of a simple project which you can do. So just now I saved a new address, and I think it let's see, yeah, it showed up at the last one, and then you can do, so this is a view, update, delete. you can add a new, you can search. Now in the search you can do two things. One is that you can do a dynamic search. So let's say as I'm clicking on it, see, as you see, the rows are getting pulled on a dynamically real time, something like a Google instance search. So that's, that right now, that to do that you have to use jQuery or something like some JavaScripting, uh, and then you can sort of do a and search, and then it gives you, uh, it searches for a for every columns from in the name, in the email. um, so that's the search feature. And then print list for customer 1 and customer 2. This is basically a feature where you do dynamic rendering of HTML based on customers. So this is a customer 1, we have a blue background, and we have customer 2, we have a yellow bar. So this is again a very simple, and as you see, the URL is changing. It has a cast2, and this one, it has a cast1. So the way you to so you have to learn how to really look at the URL, get the parameter, and change the maybe CSS dynamically. And here I have a little note. So let's say if you want to search, in the search you can use Ajax and jQuery using autocomplete. Add edit, you can do jQuery validation. So for example, add here, you can, let's say if you want to click on blank, it says this field is required. You cannot, for the email, you cannot put anything. It has to be formatted email. So please enter a valid address. So it will not, this message will not go away unless you put a valid email. See, once you put a valid email, it goes away. So these are, the basic validations which has become sort of a norm of any professional looking website. Now, if you again in a phone, right now I guess I don't have validation for phone other than just a required field, but you can also have validation for phone. So again, for address we have required. So for example, once you do the basic validation, I think going to the next level, it's kind of not that difficult, because it's just extension of the skills which you learn. So that's let's see. So add edit, you have to do jQuery validation, and then print customer. So dynamic branding through CSS. What that means is that if you develop a website and you co-brand it for different customers, meaning every customer has got their own look and feel, means their own look and CSS. So how can you really manipulate the CSS depending on the URL? And then there is some security feature like a cross-site scripting check, meaning so let's say if someone put an address, there is something called cross-site scripting. Search in Google, but the security of web forms is very important. So let's say, for example, if you don't take care of that, there are ways where someone can put a name like that with a SQL statement, delete from address, and can wipe out your entire database or entire table. So anyway, so there's something called cross-site scripting, and it has to do with security, web form security. So when you're developing web application, you have to take care of that. So these are the things. If I would suggest, this is a good project to do on your own, which is an address book project, and this is sort of way to develop some sort of confidence and skill building in your if you want to become a good web developer. What I'm going to do is that next few videos I'm going to slowly build this project one at a time. So and this address book project. So if you want to wait and see my videos before starting to do on your own, you can wait, or you can start building without looking at my videos. Now one thing I suggest is that if you are you can do these projects in different ways. Now one rudimentary way is that you can just write one PHP program, and which does the HTML rendering, which does the query of the database, and it has all the logic. So it's just one program, right? Now that's, again, it depends on what is your goal. If your goal is to develop a quick web applications to get stuff done, that's something, it's okay, I guess. But if your goal is to really become a web developer, good web developer, and so that you can whatever is your goal, to get employed by a company or to do entrepreneurship and start doing your own web company, you should do it in the way the professional in the real world complicated websites are developed, which means you know basically using some sort of a MVC frameworks to keep your HTML, your database calls all separate. So you should use a model view controller framework, and I'm going to do it using CodeIgniter. But if you have your own favorite MVC framework, you should use that. You should use also jQuery wherever it is needed to client-side validation instead of doing all in the server side. You should also write good SQL. And also you should use something called some good CSS. So for my project, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use jQuery extensively. I'm going to use Blueprint CSS for this project, and then that's it. So welcome, and we'll see you. Hopefully, you'll get started with this project, and we'll hope by the end of doing this project, you become a good web developer. Thank you.